Also, willkommen im Lektion 1. Welcome to lesson 1. Aufforderungen. So the word Aufforderungen means commands. And just to let you know, for the first lesson, I'm going to mostly use English for the first half of the year, but I'll use German with my English and kind of say words in both languages as we're first practicing with them. So here we have Aufforderungen, which means commands. You should be familiar with what a command is. It means when you tell someone or ask someone to do something. So here's our vocabulary picture. Vokabelbild. So a picture is a Bild, B-I-L-D in German. Anyway, let's first introduce our cast of characters, which I will do in German. Das ist Stefan, der Mann da. Das ist Nora. Say hello, Nora. Nora. Das ist Peter. Liest ein Buch. Das ist Frau Schulz. So Frau Schulz would mean Mrs. Schulz here. So you're calling me Herr Taylor. Herr means Mr. Frau means Mrs. So Frau Schulz. Das ist Albert. Hallo Albert. Und das ist Heidi. So we have a cast of characters here that are going to come up in our learning a lot in our lessons. Stefan, Nora, Peter, Frau Schulz, Albert, und Heidi. So we have our cast of characters here. They're in a classroom, if you can't tell. The students are sitting at the desk, and Frau Schulz is actually telling them to do things. She's using these Aufforderungen. She's using these commands. So now let's consider, what is she telling each person to do? Well, the image tells you. So Frau Schulz sagt zu Stefan, schreiben Sie. Alright, let's break that sentence apart. Frau Schulz sagt zu Stefan. So sagt here means says. So she says to Stefan, schreiben Sie. What do you think that means? Look at what he's doing. Well, he's writing. So that schreiben Sie means write. Hey Stefan, schreiben Sie. That means hey Stefan, write. For Nora, what is she saying? Frau Schulz sagt, Nora, hören Sie zu. So please repeat these words as I say them in the video. You can pause and you can say it right after I say it. You can rewind. But Frau Schulz is telling Nora, hören Sie zu. Hören Sie zu. So you see this word Sie quite frequently. The word Sie means you, and it's capitalized, you can tell. And it means you as in like you, my student who I'm talking to. It can also mean you all, like a group of people. And it's going to be spelled the same way. So notice how we're using this construction here to say a command. Schreiben Sie literally says write you. For Nora, hören Sie zu, it says listen you. And then it has zu at the end, which we'll get into later. So Peter, what's he doing? He's got a book in his hand. So lesen here must mean read, right? So Frau Schulz is telling Peter, read, lesen Sie. So I'm going to go through the rest and say, Frau Schulz sagt zu Peter, lesen Sie ein Buch. Frau Schulz sagt zu Albert, stehen Sie auf, which means stand up, which is why the arrow is there. Frau Schulz sagt zu Heidi, setzen Sie sich, which means sit down. So take a moment here. Think about this word Sie, it means you, and look at the verbs. They all end with an en. Schreiben, hören, lesen, stehen, setzen. Those are things you should notice with on this first lesson here. Okay, so now you need to recall, think of this as a lesson, recall these words as in repeat them after I say them. So, Stefan schreibt. Nora hört zu. Peter liest. Frau Schulz spricht mit den Studenten. So I'm telling you what they're doing. What you need to know is the command form. So practice saying these words up top. Schreiben Sie. It means write. Hören Sie zu. It means listen. Lesen Sie. That means read. Stehen Sie auf. That means stand up. Setzen Sie sich. That means sit down. So practice with this picture, pronouncing these words, and you can even use their names. So say like, Stefan, write. Nora, listen. Peter, read. So this is what it should sound like when you do it. Stefan, schreiben Sie. Nora, hören Sie zu. Peter, lesen Sie. And then etc., etc. One last thing I want to say is you see these two little dots here? That's called an umlaut. And that's going to come up a lot in German. What it does is it makes the letter above it much, if it's an O, it makes it much deeper. So the umlauted O here, instead of being hören, like a regular O, hören, it's going to become hören. So it goes from O to hören Sie zu. Don't worry too much about getting it right now. I'll correct you in the lab.